Well, here it is. That video everyone wants to make after they get off a ship that is crawling with kids. Hello, my friends. I realize that this might be an unpopular topic, but cruising can sometimes make you feel like you're literally trapped on an out-of-control playground, surrounded by water and no chance of escape. Listen, I'm a mom, and cruise ships are amazing family vacations, and that's how I fell in love with cruising in the first place. But mine are grown and flown, and while I actually still like kids, I do find some of the parents to be questionable. I mean, case in point, Carnival having to ban a 9-year-old child for life for fighting and damaging ship property, while he was allowed to roam the ship late at night alone. That's not good parenting. Am I alone in thinking this? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. So today I'm going to tell you my most effective ways to avoid children while cruising, and some of them I can almost guarantee you've never thought of before. So stick around, and please do chime in with your own tips in the comments section, because none of us want to see miserable faces when we cruise. Number 1. Go on a themed cruise. Yep, that's right. If you go on an 80s or a 90s themed cruise, or even a Star Trek cruise, or any cruise that has some kind of a theme to it, chances are you are not going to get big crowds of kids. Let's face it, little Bobby or Susie, or these days I guess it's little Sophia or Liam, they aren't going to enjoy watching Grandma and Grandpa relive their glory days, and they won't understand all of the TNG references or why everyone is wearing pointed ears. So unless your cruise theme is SpongeBob SquarePants or whatever the kids are watching these days, you're not going to see many children on that ship.
Fascinating.
Number 2, and here's a fail-safe one. Go on a no-kid cruise line or a no-kid cruise ship. Try Viking, Virgin, or 2 of the ships on P&O, the Arcadia and the Aurora. Kids are literally not allowed to board. So this is by far the most effective way to avoid kids, but please double check and make sure that they didn't suddenly change their policy. And if you know another no-kid cruise, please help us all out by posting it in the comments section. Number 3, go on a repositioning cruise. I've talked about repositioning cruises before on this channel, and they are a great way to get a spectacular deal. Here's the issue most people face with them though. You usually have to book a flight to get to the embarkation port or to get home. Bummer, right? Well, if you don't care for kids on a cruise, that downside actually turns into an upside, because families don't want to have to book a flight for a bunch of their kids. Flying with a family is usually A, soul-suckingly painful, and B, excruciatingly expensive. So on repositioning cruises, you're likely to see far fewer kids than if that ship was dropping you off in the same place that it picked you up. Number 4, don't sail when school is out. Seriously, just don't. You all laughed at me for making this mistake with my cruise on the Odyssey of the Seas, which sailed out of New York City during, you guessed it, New York City's spring break. I'll never live it down. My only defense is that it was the only time I was able to vacation, but at least you can learn from my mistake. Number 5, avoid itineraries with private islands. This is getting harder and harder to do, but it definitely helps. Families with kids often tend to like private islands because they make you feel a little safer and like you're still in that cruise bubble. And hey, a lot of them even offer water slides, and you know what I'm about to say next. Number 6, avoid ships with water slides. They are kid magnets. And while you're at it, number 7, go on older ships. I can't stress this one enough. Some of my favorite ships are the ones that are 15 or 20 years old or even older. These ships are smaller, and they don't have the space to install all of those kid attractors that we've all become accustomed to on these newer ships. I'm talking water slides, roller coasters, swings that propel you over the edge of the ship, skydiving simulators. It's almost insane what cruise lines put on ships these days. Now, I know this sounds a little odd from a 50-something woman who still loves thrill rides. So when I'm on an older ship, I'll admit I do feel the lack of them. But you know what I tend to get on a smaller, not-so-thrilling ship? Peace and quiet. Seriously, outside of some people getting out of control when they drink too much, you're generally going to find a much more seasoned and calmer crowd on the older ships. Number 8, eat later, not earlier. Kids tend to eat earlier. In fact, while I'm at it, do what I do. And number 9, enjoy the ship at strange hours. I get up at 4 in the morning on most cruises. That's just me, and let me tell you, I have the most peaceful morning cup of coffee and the best seats available for sunrises. And you know what I don't see at that hour? Kids. Number 10, be careful what cabin you book. This is a 3-parter, so listen up. You might want to avoid booking a cabin that is on the same deck as the kids' club. You also might want to avoid the deck just below the kids' club because you will hear a lot of kids running around. And finally, you might want to avoid booking a cabin that is next to or across from adjoining cabins. Please take note that I'm not telling you to not book an adjoining cabin itself, even though that is something I don't like to do, but that reason has nothing to do with kids and everything to do with hearing the people in the cabin next to you. I'm saying to not book any cabin that is near adjoining cabins because they are hugely popular for large, and I do mean large, families. And while most cruise lines will make parents officially book one of the adults in the adjoining cabin with the kids, do you really think that the parents actually stick to that setup? Of course not. When no one is looking, one cabin usually goes for the adults, and the other one becomes romper room. And only Gen Xers and Boomers know what I'm referring to there. Number 11. Beware of shorter cruises even during the school year. I'm talking 3, 4, or sometimes even 5-day sailings, specifically the ones that include a weekend, because a lot of parents have no problem pulling their kids out of school for a couple days. And on the flip side, number 12, do consider booking a cruise that is longer than a week. Those 9 or 10-day cruises during the school year are simply not going to get a lot of school-age kids on there. And actually, I'd even say they have less non-school-age kids on longer itineraries, because I'm going to go bold here and just say that most parents I know prefer shorter trips than that for their really little ones. Agree or disagree? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Number 13, seek out adult-only spaces. Most cruise ships will have at least one dedicated adults-only area, and even adults-only shows, though I'll add that those are often not well enforced. Some of these spaces or shows you might have to pay extra for, but if it will mean the difference between you enjoying your cruise and you hating it, book it. Number 14. Avoid cruising during federal holidays. So you've booked a cruise avoiding summer or winter vacations, and you were even smarter than I was and avoided spring break. But oops, you forgot about Martin Luther King Day or President's Day or other federal holidays when schools will be closed. So you've just potentially boosted that kid population on that cruise. Number 15, and this one might sound foreign to those of you who don't have kids. Go online and check the school calendar for the county where your ship is embarking. That's because schools have all of these other days off that aren't tied to any kind of holiday that people without kids don't even know about, like teacher grading days or teacher training days or whatever they want to call them. And if kids in the county where that cruise ship is docked are on some kind of school holiday, then you know some of them are likely going to end up on that ship. Number 16. Oh, I hate saying this one. Don't sail Disney. Look, I get it. A lot of you consider yourselves Disney adults, a term that I really would love to see stop trending. And go ahead, yell at me about how nothing can top the entertainment on a Disney ship regardless of your age. Because you're right, I love those shows too. So by all means, even if you don't have kids, but just love Disney, go ahead, take that Disney cruise. But don't do it if you're trying to avoid kids, because they will be crawling out of the walls, metaphorically speaking. And the adults-only areas on most Disney ships are not very big. At least, I don't find them to be. And even if you're planning a cruise when kids are in school, kids will still be there. They'll likely be younger during the school year, like birth to 5 years old, before the schools suck them into their vortex for 9 months out of the year. But they'll be there. And for most of these families, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So if you do go, don't complain about the kids. It's a Disney cruise. You knew what you were signing up for. Number 17. Watch out for kids sail-free sailings. Now this is a bit tricky because very often these types of sails tend to pop up when a sailing is occurring at a time when kids are in school anyway. But the cruise lines are probably not targeting families with school-age kids for these sailings, and instead are after families with kids younger than that. Or they're making the pricing so enticing that it's worth lying to the school and pulling your kids out for a few days. Not that any of you would ever do such a thing. Number 18. And this one might be too deep in the weeds for some of you, but if you really want your best chances, choose sailings that are at the beginning of the cruise port's local school system's grading period or at the end. I know this sounds odd and even cumbersome, but pulling kids out of school for a few days to go on a cruise is very difficult at the beginning of the grading period or at the end of it when exams are going on. So there they are. Got some other tips to add? Please post them in the comments section. And don't walk away from this video thinking that I don't like cruising with kids. Cruising with family is exactly how I fell in love with cruising. But no one wants to see anyone miserable on a cruise ship. So if you genuinely hate being around kids or their parents, because to me, bad parents are 10 times worse to deal with than even the most feral kid, then I hope some of these tips might help make your cruise a more enjoyable experience. As always, thank you for watching, for commenting, for liking and hitting that hype button, and most of all, for making this channel such a welcoming, supportive cruise community. I'm so grateful for you. And please do chime in with your own tips. Go on a no crate, and here's a sail, and here's a fail. Number 2, and here's a fail. Number 2. My only defense is that it was the only time I was available. My only defense is that it was the only time I was able to vacation. Let me try that again. And while most cruise lines will make the parents officially, and while most cruise lines will make parents, and the adults only areas on most Disney ships. And the adults only areas on most Disney ships. So there they are. Got some other tips to add. Supportive community. Now let me try all that again.